Do you know what's harder than learning a new language? Making a full language learning apps. Because not only you have to learn the language you want to teach, you also have to learn how to make an apps, and you have to learn how to teach something. And the problem is there is dozens of different languages in the world. There is hundreds of different ways to make an app and thousands of different ways to teach someone how to learn a language. And that's why even though a lot of people have tried to make their own language learning apps, only a few apps are really famous, and most of them are either not famous at all or are completely dead. For example, everyone knows Duolingo. And with Duolingo, you learn a language like you're playing a video games, which is really good for motivation. But the problem is, learning a new language is harder than playing a video games. And you cannot be completely fluent by only using Duolingo to learn a language. There is also Anki, a free and open source app that is really focused on the learning part with their spaced repetition system. So if you want to learn a language with Anki, you will also have to look on your own some way to learn the grammar and to do some listening practice and pronunciation practice. And that's okay, there's a lot of tools that exist for different language online. And all those online tools can be really great to help people to learn the language they want. But we still have not found a solution to Anki's and Duolingo's problems. And a lot of people have made their own project to make the best language learning apps. So for example, there is LibreLingo, a project that tried to make an open source version of Duolingo. But over the years, a lot of people stopped working for LibreLingo, and that project almost died more than once. And that's the first problem. A lot of language learning apps are made by independent people, and so when they stop working for their project, most of the time the project dies with them. And the second problem with LibreLingo is the fact they have a lot of difficulty finding words and sentences in each language they want to teach. And that's the second problem. Content. For content, you have two solutions. Either you let everyone post their own content with their own words and sentences in every language, so that's what Anki did, but it's not that easy to do. Or either you want to make the content yourself, but it takes a lot of time to make. And that's why another project called Yakk died a few years ago. Its creator found how hard it was to make all the content for each language you want to teach himself. And that's why he stopped completely working on that project and he started another project to not make the same mistake again. And there's also some other projects like Learning with Text, which help you translating and reading a text and reading a text in a language, which is a very interesting way to learn a new language. But like LibreLingo, that project also had a few difficulties to find people working for that project. But at least Learning with Text is still not completely died, unlike Amble, whose project was completely stopped a few months ago without any explanation. And there's also GoogleLingo that doesn't exist anymore, but not because they failed. GoogleLingo was bought by Rosetta Stone a few years ago, so I guess it was a success for them. And then there is me. I'm also working on my own language learning apps, and now that I have understood the problems with each learning app that exists, I think that I found a solution to not make the same mistake as they did. First of all, I will not reinvent the wheel. Instead of inventing some complex and new way to teach the language, I will only use methods that already work, like the spaced repetition system from Anki. And once my spaced repetition system actually works, I will add and implement some other method to actually help people learning the language. Then, for the problem of having enough content for my apps, so finding words and sentences in every language, I also have a solution for that. For the first few months, I will download an open source dictionary and open source tools to have an easy way to make my app work. Like, it's not the best solution, but at least I will have an app that actually works and actually help you learn a language. But once the first version of my app actually works, I will start the second step, which is letting users add and share their own content like Anki do. But unlike Anki, I want my approach to be close to what Wikipedia is doing. Instead of having one person making the content for everyone, what I want to do is have an easy way for anyone to add their own word in a language, or letting people add new translation, new sentences, or new images for specific worlds, so that over the years my project can get bigger and bigger without me having to do anything at all. And then the third problem, will I also give up and let my project die? And to that I have one thing to say. You see, I'm a Clash of Clans player. I've waited years just to have my Barbarian King to level max. So no, I don't give up that easily. And the only reason I will stop will be if I found an even better idea. So that's it for today. I will continue to upload weekly video on this channel while I'm also working on my apps. So if you are curious, subscribe or check my GitHub for more information on my project, and see you next week.